Hi, this is Ast3rix and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the augmented scale. The augmented scale consists of 6 notes and it belongs to the category of hexatonic scales. The name is based on the fact that the scale is built upon 2 augmented chords. And the scale that I'm actually covering is F. And the notes in that particular scale are F, G sharp, A, C, C sharp, E, F. Okay, so now since we're getting more into the American scales, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a few more complicated things. Maybe not complicated, but I'm going to be adding more things that are not part of the scale, but that actually match with the scale that I'm playing in. So for this particular scale, I'm adding these 2 things. I'm adding an extra value note, which I'm using in the chords. I'm adding this note, which is a G, and I'm adding a B flat. So those are the 2 extra notes that I'll be adding. And let me show you what I did in the very first item, which is let me just kind of show you what I did. So also today we're going to be doing trap jazz. It's been a while since I've done trap jazz, so kind of bear with me. So for trap jazz, I'm going to be doing this as my primary melody. Okay, and let me just show you what I was doing with that. So again, I'm working in that same scale. So what I was doing was this. Okay, so again, I'm adding that extra note, which is that G. So it's kind of a minor, makes it a minor, more of a tonic. So this is about harmonics. So in these cases, sometimes you really have to use your ears to know what sounds good and what doesn't. And that's the case with this. So the other thing that I know that will match with this is an F minor. Even though this is an actual, this is not a minor, it's a major scale that I'm playing in for this augmented scale that I'm playing in. But again, once you start really digging into harmony and understanding harmony, you'll be able to hear the other notes and keys and scales that will match the same scale that you're playing in. And the way that you get to know those types of things is you have to experiment. So if you're playing in the key of F, you can experiment with the minor scales on top of the F, and sometimes it doesn't always work. And because this is kind of a jazz kind of sound, jazz is really infamous for blending minors and ninths and sevenths to give it like a very full blended kind of sound. Also, jazz uses a lot of different values of scales or scales period. So you get to really flex your ability to be able to hear things that don't match. The more that you actually get into the scales and understanding what works with another type of scale, the more you'll be able to hear those odd harmonics. Odd harmonics are notes that don't really seem like they really match, but when they're played in conjunction with another key, they do. And some instruments, like this Rhodes that I'm using, really messes with your ears in being able to hear harmonics. So sometimes you can play notes that don't really go together and it actually still sounds good. And the only way that you're going to be able to really see what I'm talking about is if you find like a Rhodes type of piano sound, playing a bunch of notes together that don't harmonically match will sometimes sound good. And it's just because there's something about the Rhodes. It has a very mid-rangey kind of harmonics to it already. And when you're playing notes that are not quite close to where they should be, they match. And that's kind of one of those weird sound design things about some instruments. And this is one of those special ones that I've found anyway from my experimentation, that you can really get away with not really playing a lot of things that should be right, and kind of cheat with it, and it'll still work. Okay, so let's move forward. On to the next thing. The next thing I tackled was kind of the 808, and I did like a kind of a rolling 808, and this is what it sounds like. Okay. Still playing in the same scale. Okay, and then moving on to the next. I'm trying to make this faster. I know I've spent a lot of time talking about harmonics. So the next thing I did was add a loop that's in F minor. So again, I knew that I could do an F minor on top of this, but it had to be right. And this is what I picked. Okay, so it's like kind of a percussion-y kind of sound with a rhythmic kind of value to it. But it's an F minor, and it's just doing a rhythmic pattern. It's not doing like any extra notes on top of it, like, from a pattern kind of based, changing the key of F minor. It's just a pattern playing in F minor. So you could easily reproduce that without having a sample. Okay, so the next thing I did was I added some drums. So I have a straight kick and a snare, and then I pulled a percussion instrument or a percussion loop from Sound Oracle's percussion pack, and that one is doing something a little different. So I wanted like a little bit of texture. So it's giving me a little extra rhythmic value in there. So you can, if you're not, it's like, there's some things about rhythm that add texture, even though you don't really necessarily hear the full instrumentation. You know that there's something extra that's going on. You're just not quite sure of what it is. And this is one of those types of rhythms that's underneath the rest of the rhythm track. So I added a hi-hat. And let me see. And I added some vocal snips. So I have like a rap vocal, and then I have like just a regular auditory kind of ad-lib vocal going on. And that's really it. That's it. So since we're getting into more complicated topics, I'm going to probably spend some time talking about harmony, because harmony is like the most important thing in music. I'm not going to do it on this session. I'm going to probably do a separate video just talking totally about harmony. Harmony is like the essential part of music production, and your ability to be able to hear harmony will affect your ability to be able to really dig into music. Harmony is the basis of everything. Harmony really helps form melodies and other patterns that intertwine with melodies. And the more that you practice being able to tinker with melodies, the better you get. I spent a lot of time really trying to blend melodies, odd things, very odd sounds with other really harmonic things that are truly in a specific key, to come up with something different. And it's just because, I want to try something different because I hear different stuff in my head. And it's not always something that's musical per se. I guess I could call it kind of noise. I hear a lot of noise a lot in my head, so I try to mimic those odd sounds I hear with other musical elements to blend them together. And sometimes I'm successful and sometimes not. But what I'm finding is the more that I experiment, the better I get at making the very strange and odd things blend with musical things. And again, it's really about experimentation. And what I'm finding is I really want to spend way more time doing more experimentation, doing more strange things, to blend things that traditionally don't sound like they should go together. And I'll probably continue to do that because I really like that path. But that's all I've got for today. And I'll see you guys on the other side.